In 2018, a quiet 13-year-old walked onto the stage at America's Got Talent as nobody. 60 seconds later, she was somebody. Her audition video exploded across the internet with over 310 million views. Judges compared her to Janis Joplin. Record labels called. The world wanted more. But by 2019, just 1 year later, her parents found her holding scissors to her throat. Not to end her life, but to destroy the voice that made her famous. This is the untold story of Courtney Hadwin, and how the biggest moment of her life became the beginning of her darkest chapter. Before Courtney Hadwin was famous, she was just a regular teenager living in Heselden, a small town in County Durham, England. She lived with her parents Anne-Marie and Paul, along with her younger sister Melissa and younger brother Paul. On the surface, everything looked normal, but inside, Courtney was fighting a battle that nobody could see. She had been struggling since childhood. Doctors would later describe what she experienced as deep depression, anxiety, and mood swings that felt like genuine internal torture. By age 13, it became too much to handle. She was hospitalized. The doctors suspected she might have borderline personality disorder, but they were reluctant to give her that diagnosis. They worried the label would follow her for the rest of her life, so they kept it quiet and hoped she would grow out of it. After the hospital, her parents made a difficult decision. They sent her to a residential treatment center in Utah for 10 months. She wasn't allowed to call her friends back home. She couldn't even choose what to eat. But something unexpected happened there. Courtney found people who understood her pain. She made friends who were fighting the same invisible battles. She painted. She visited animals at a nearby farm. She started journaling. For the first time in a long time, she felt normal. When she left the treatment center, Courtney believed she had turned a corner. She thought the worst was behind her. She was starting over, rebuilding her confidence, and discovering something that had always been inside her. A voice. Not just any voice. A voice that could shake people. Before AGT, Courtney had competed in smaller competitions. In 2015, she auditioned for Teen Star in Newcastle with Bob Dylan's Make You Feel My Love, and made it all the way to the grand final. She also appeared on The Voice Kids UK in 2017. But these moments were small. They were local. Nobody outside of her town knew who she was. Then in 2018, everything changed. NBC announced auditions for the 13th season of America's Got Talent. Courtney was 13 years old. She had just come out of treatment. She had just learned to believe in herself again. She decided to audition. She had no idea that one performance would change her life forever, or that it would trigger a chain reaction she couldn't control. The AGT audition stage is one of the most intimidating places on earth. Thousands of people in the audience. Cameras everywhere. For the most powerful judges in entertainment watching your every move. Courtney walked out that day as a nervous 13-year-old girl. Her hands were shaking. She was terrified. Mel B., one of the judges, asked her some warm-up questions to calm her nerves. Courtney answered softly, her voice small and gentle. She looked like just another shy teenager who might not have what it took. Then the music started playing. It was Hard to Handle by Otis Redding, a classic soul and rock song that demands power, attitude, and soul. And something happened on that stage that shocked everyone watching. Courtney transformed. Her entire body changed. Her voice exploded out of her like she had been holding it back her entire life. It wasn't the voice of a 13-year-old girl anymore. It was the voice of a seasoned rock and soul singer. Raw, powerful, authentic. She moved across the stage with confidence she didn't have seconds before. She belted out lyrics with maturity that made no sense coming from someone her age. The judges erupted. Simon Cowell jumped his feet. Heidi Klum stood up. All 4 judges were on their feet before she finished. Howie Mandel was so blown away that he hit the golden buzzer, sending her straight to the live shows without having to compete in the early rounds. He told her she wasn't from this era. She was from a whole different era. He compared her to Janis Joplin, one of the greatest rock singers who ever lived. But the real explosion happened after the cameras stopped rolling. The audition video was uploaded to YouTube. Within days, it had millions of views. Within weeks, it had tens of millions. By the time it stopped spreading, the video had been watched over 310 million times. It became the most viewed video from season 13 of AGT. Courtney's face was everywhere. Her name was trending on social media. News outlets were writing about her. She went from being a girl that nobody knew to being recognized on the street. Record labels started calling immediately. Major music companies wanted to sign her. Simon Cowell himself offered her a deal with his label, Psycho Entertainment, and Arista Records. She was 13 years old, and the entire music industry wanted a piece of her. But nobody stopped to ask if a 13-year-old girl who had just come out of mental health treatment was ready for what comes next. Nobody asked if she was prepared for the weight of 310 million eyes watching her every move. What most people don't understand about viral fame is that it's not gradual. It's not something you ease into. It hits you all at once like a wave that drowns you before you can take a breath. One day you're nobody. The next day you're somebody to millions of people you've never met. Courtney had to keep performing. She had made it through to the live shows at AGT, which meant more performances, more pressure, more cameras. In the quarterfinals on August 14th, 2018, she sang "Papa's Got a Brand New Bag" by James Brown. The judges loved it. In the semifinals on September 11th, she performed "Born to Be Wild" by Steppenwolf. Another standing ovation. Then came the finals on September 18th. She sang "River Deep, Mountain High" by Tina Turner, one of the most difficult songs in rock and soul history. She was the only British act to make it to the AGT finale that season. The competition was fierce. Other talented performers were competing for the same prize. But Courtney had momentum. She had the viral video. She had the judges' support. She had the attention of the entire world. She didn't win. In the end, a magician named Shin Lim took home the grand prize. For some performers, not winning would be devastating. But Courtney's life had already changed in ways that didn't require winning a competition. She was invited to perform live shows in Las Vegas with Shin Lim at the Paris Hotel and Casino from November 2nd to 4th, 2018. She was signing record deals. She was being offered opportunities that most artists work their entire lives to achieve. But something was happening beneath the surface. The girl who felt normal and safe in a treatment center in Utah was now living in a spotlight, so bright it burned. The attention that felt exciting in those first weeks started to feel heavy. Every performance had to be perfect. Every note had to be flawless. The expectations kept growing. People who had never heard of her before were now invested in her success. They had opinions about her. They had expectations. Social media amplified everything. Every comment, every criticism, every piece of praise was right there waiting for her to read. At 13 and 14 years old, Courtney was navigating the most intense period of her life, while also dealing with the normal teenage confusion of figuring out who she was. The spotlight didn't give her space to be confused. It demanded answers. It demanded perfection. It demanded she be the girl on the stage, all the time, everywhere. In 2019, Courtney appeared on America's Got Talent. The Champions, a special competition featuring the best contestants from all seasons of AGT. She performed her first original song, "Pretty Little Thing." The judges gave her a standing ovation. She finished in third place overall. She was one of the top 3 best acts from the entire history of AGT. But winning a competition or finishing in third place doesn't silence the voice inside your head that whispers you're not good enough. It doesn't ease the weight of expectation. It only adds more pressure. By 2019, Courtney Hadwin was living a contradiction. On stage, she was unstoppable. She was confident. She was powerful. She was everything people wanted her to be. Off stage, she was struggling in ways that nobody could see. The anxiety that had haunted her since childhood came roaring back. But this time it was different. It wasn't just anxiety about life. It was anxiety about being watched. Anxiety about performing. Anxiety about the voice that had made her famous. She took a step back from performing. After the intensity of AGT and AGT Champions, she stopped. She needed space. She needed to breathe. She needed to remember who she was when nobody was watching. But stepping away from the spotlight after tasting that level of fame is its own kind of torture, because you know what you've lost. You know what you walked away from. You know that millions of people are waiting for you to come back. The pressure built inside her. Courtney started struggling with self-harm. She engaged in unhealthy coping behaviors. The same girl who had found healing in a treatment center was now finding herself in crisis again. Her parents watched helplessly as their daughter, who had fought so hard to get better, was sinking deeper into darkness. Then came the moment that shattered everything. In 2019, Courtney's parents found her holding scissors to her throat. This wasn't a suicide attempt. This was something different. This was self-sabotage. She was trying to destroy the one thing that had defined her life for the past year. She was trying to destroy her voice. The voice that had brought her fame was now the voice she wanted gone. She wanted to cut her vocal cords and make it all stop. Think about what that means. Courtney had performed in front of millions of people. She had received standing ovations from some of the biggest names in entertainment. She had record deals. She had opportunities that most people dream about their entire lives. And her response was to try to destroy the thing that made it all possible. That's not a sign of ingratitude. That's a sign of someone in crisis. That's a sign of someone whose mental health had deteriorated so badly that she would rather lose her gift than continue living under the weight of what came with it. Her parents immediately got her help. She didn't spend months suffering in silence after that moment. Her family recognized the emergency and responded. But this incident revealed something important. The success, the fame, the viral videos, the record deals, none of it had healed the pain that Courtney was carrying. In some ways, it had made it worse. Fame had taken the broken girl from the treatment center and told her that her value depended on her ability to perform. It had given her everything and nothing at the same time. The Courtney Hadwin who walked onto the AGT stage in 2018 was a girl recovering from serious mental health struggles. She wasn't equipped for what came next. Nobody at that age could be. The industry saw a talented girl with a remarkable voice. What it didn't see was a vulnerable teenager who needed protection, not exposure. After her parents found her with the scissors, Courtney had to make a choice. She could continue down the path of performing and chasing the fame that had defined the last year of her life, or she could step away and try to rebuild herself, knowing that stepping away meant losing something she had already tasted. There's no easy choice in that situation. Both paths come with pain. She chose to step back. For months, she didn't perform publicly. She didn't post on social media. She didn't feed the machine that had made her famous. She disappeared. And in that disappearance, something unexpected happened. She started to heal. Courtney took time to be a normal teenager. She went to school. She hung out with friends. She didn't have to be Courtney Hadwin, the AGT girl, every single day. She got to just be Courtney. She got to cry when she needed to cry. She got to struggle without millions of people watching. She got to fail without it being documented on social media. But she also started creating again on her own terms. In 2020, she began uploading acoustic covers to YouTube. Simple performances filmed in her bedroom or local spaces. No production team. No judges. No millions of viewers waiting to critique. Just her and her voice and camera. These weren't performances designed to impress anyone. They were Courtney learning to love her voice again, without the pressure of perfection. Something shifted during this period. The girl who wanted to destroy her voice started to remember why she loved it in the first place. She remembered being 9 years old and watching a girl just like her take the stage on Britain's Got Talent and thinking, I could do that. She remembered the feeling of singing and losing herself in the music before fame turned it into a job. She remembered that music was supposed to be about expression, not validation. Her record label released an album called The Cover Sessions in October 2019, which included live covers of songs by artists like Harry Styles, Lil Nas X, the Jonas Brothers, and Louis Capaldi. In February 2020, she released a single called Breakable, which she wrote with producer Kevin Bowe. It was a pop ballad, vulnerable and honest. The music video eventually got nearly 500,000 views on YouTube. These weren't the viral, earth-shaking numbers that her AGT audition had achieved. They were modest by comparison, but they were real. They were on her terms. They represented an artist who was learning to create without needing the validation of millions of strangers. She was rebuilding, not from zero, but from a place of honest self-awareness. She knew who she was now. She knew what she could handle. She knew her limits. By stepping back, by disappearing from the spotlight, by choosing her mental health over fame, Courtney did something that most child stars never managed to do. She protected herself. She didn't burn out completely. She didn't fade away. She didn't become another cautionary tale of a young talent destroyed by the entertainment industry. Instead, she became someone who understood that success and happiness aren't the same thing. As of 2026, Courtney Hadwin is 20 years old. She's not the viral sensation anymore. She's not the girl that everyone is talking about, but she's still here. She's still making music. She's still performing. And most importantly, she's still alive, not just physically, but emotionally and creatively. She has over 1.8 million followers on Instagram. She's been teasing new original music. In recent interviews, she's talked openly about her mental health journey and how much she's grown as an artist since that AGT audition 7 years ago. She said something powerful in an interview about her recovery. She explained that she needed to grow up and live her life and experience things to be able to write the songs she now has. The pressure to capitalize on her viral moment would have stolen that from her. Stepping away gave her back her life. Her new album is coming out later in 2026. She's performing again, but on her own terms. She's not chasing the viral moment. She's not performing to prove anything to anyone. She's performing because music matters to her, because her voice means something to her, because she survived a thing that almost destroyed her. The story of Courtney Hadwin isn't a tragedy, even though it could have been. It's a survival story. It's the story of a girl who had everything taken from her privacy, her childhood, her peace of mind, and found the strength to take it back. She learned that being famous doesn't mean being happy. She learned that viral success can be more destructive than constructive. She learned that the real victory isn't winning a competition or getting millions of views. The real victory is waking up every day and choosing yourself over the expectations of strangers. What happened to Courtney Hadwin is a mirror held up to the entertainment industry. We celebrate young talent. We want to see them succeed. We share their videos and cheer them on. But we rarely ask ourselves if we're asking too much from someone so young. We rarely consider the psychological cost of instant fame. We rarely think about the person behind the performance. Courtney's story shows us that there's a human being inside every viral video. There's a real person with real struggles behind every standing ovation. And sometimes the bravest thing an artist can do isn't to keep pushing forward. It's to step back and say, I need to take care of myself. Today, Courtney is healthier than she's been since before the AGT explosion. She's creating music that matters to her. She's performing without the crushing weight of expectation. She's living a life that she chose, not a life that was chosen for her. She went from being a girl nobody knew to being somebody the world watched, and then she did something remarkable. She went back to being just Courtney. That girl on the AGT stage with the scissors to her throat never came back. She was replaced by a young woman who learned that her voice is powerful not because millions of people watch her sing, but because it helped her survive. So here's the question for you. Do you think Courtney did the right thing by stepping back from the spotlight and prioritizing her mental health, even though it meant walking away from the fame and opportunities that came so quickly? Or do you think she should have pushed through and used her platform to help others struggling like she was? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.